All right, we're live. The All-Star MMA live show. Go in the descriptions. Download the All-Star app. Make your picks for UFC shows. Last week, it was a crazy week. I think there was like 6 submissions on the whole card, which is very rare. You know, what I mean, I think only like 1 or 2 knockouts. But no, there was like 7 submissions. I think the record for UFC shows, UFC submissions in a UFC show is 8 submissions total. That's the record. Last week there was I think 7, so they almost broke the record. Anyways, you guys go in the app, download it. Make your picks on UFC events. There's an event this weekend happening, UFC Vegas 89, I believe. I forgot who's playing, but we'll be back on Thursday to talk about that card. Today we're not going to talk about that card. Today, I got some special guests from Brazil. I think this is the first time I have some Brazilian guests, and then I have to have 2 because you got to make it even, right?
Yeah.
So, is it Felipe or Felipe?
Felipe.
Felipe.
Yeah.
See, I think people call you Felipe sometimes,
yeah,
right?
Felipe.
Yeah,
It's
Felipe.
pretty much all the same. It's fine.
All right. Felipe, tell everybody about yourself. Like, your first time on the show. Like,
Yeah.
where you from? What you doing? Talk about the MMA stuff, Muay Thai stuff. What's going on?
Okay, so my name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil, São Paulo. So I'm a professional Muay Thai fighter and changing to MMA now.
All right. So how long do you think it's going to take you to be fighting MMA?
Oh, I hope I'm doing my pro debut on the middle of the year, June, July.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll be back in the
Yeah.
middle of June, July
Yeah.
to check up on you and your pro debut.
Yeah.
And then we got Nicholas Mota. If you don't know him, then you just don't know shit, right? Nicholas is out here doing his thing, training. Lots of work, man. People think like, oh, fighters are gonna go train and they're gonna be lazy. Nah, Mota's out here working. I see him every day, multiple times in the gym, working, helping his friend as well. You know what I mean? It's good to have a friend to help, right?
Yeah, coming to Thailand, right? I just had 2 fights back to back in the end of November and beginning of January, and at first, like, I thought that would be like a vacation, but at the same time with a lot of training.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends always told me good things about Thailand. Then finally I came to Phuket, and I'm having fun and at the same time working hard, and I'm not fucking around too much because I want to be ready to fight.
There you go. We know you're ready. We've seen you, right? Man, before we get into some of the topics, we're going to talk about like Jose Aldo. He's coming back to fight. We'll talk about that soon. We'll talk about Garry and Colby Covington. Have you seen some of that stuff?
No,
I'll let you guys know what's going on. They're going back and forth now. It's like it's getting interesting, right? It's like drama, but it's interesting the way that they're doing it. It's not just like, oh, I'm talking trash. They're like making deals and stuff. It's weird. We'll talk about that. And Nate Diaz is gonna fight Jorge Masvidal, the rematch in boxing. We'll see. We'll talk about how, if you like it or not. And then maybe if we have time, we'll talk about Renato Moicano and Paddy Pimblett a little bit, right? But and that's your division.
Yes.
Right. So you know what's up. But before that, let's in Phuket, since we were in Phuket, we did the show live from Phuket. Recently, like on the news, there was like 2 guys that were stopped by the police and then ended up taking his gun and then beating him up, and then they got it all on film. And those guys are going to be in jail for a long time. I just put that out there right now. But
sure.
But how important is it to act not like a caveman when you go to another country? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Act like a human being.
Even when I go to a different gym, I'm already.
It's like, in your space, in your country, like just respect, like, and like for sure they will get a lot of trouble.
Yeah. It's just watching that. It's just like it's a bad image for the people that are visitors here.
Yeah.
Because we're not like that. We're not going around and like when I see police, I just think that they're like friendly people. Like I don't think of them as like hostile or anything like that, right? And I just wonder what really happened. To be honest, like how did it get to that point?
That's so bad, and there's respect for it.
Yeah. In America, you would have been killed.
In
the police
Brazil,
will kill you, right? Yeah, right?
In Brazil, this would not even happen. The police would hit you first.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
before I came to Thailand, my friends that live here, they explained to me that you never fuck with the Thais in Thailand.
Yeah.
And
They're the nicest people, but you
yeah,
cannot
and also they are the nicest
disrespect.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you cannot. It's anywhere you go, even when you
And
go to Brazil.
I'm not sure because it's my first time in Asia, but I feel like the Asian people, they are very respectful.
Oh yeah, they're really respectful.
Well, the Thai culture is, like when you meet people, they're already like this.
Oh,
That's
that's
already
so nice.
respect, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But yeah, it's a bad image, and the news is that these dudes are from New Zealand, right? And I don't know, man. I just hope that I hope they survive jail.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
It's
And
true.
hey, we might be saying that laughing, but like in other countries, this wouldn't even make the news.
Yeah.
They would have swiped the news. These dudes would have been gone. Like these dudes would have been,
Yeah.
buried.
But
You
it's
know what I mean?
hard today in like internet, like everyone having a
Exactly.
phone and make videos, so it's quite easy.
You go viral.
Yeah.
Everybody had their phone out looking for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's. Do you like that? Do you like that? I hate it. I hate it. Let me give you an example. Like sometimes you watch YouTube, like the reels or like like Instagram reels, and you see like these videos of like somebody's like filming people in the street in
Yeah.
Thailand. In those areas like Bangla Road or like in
Yeah.
Pattaya or Bangkok. They're
Yeah,
filming people like doing things that
Yeah.
having a good time. You know what I mean? And maybe they don't want that out there in the world. They come
Yeah.
here and people are out there filming that and
Yeah,
just
that
putting
should be
online.
illegal, right?
Should be illegal. Those people should get their ass beat.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to beat someone's ass, beat those people and break their cameras. Like, what are they doing? Like, people don't want. That's why they come on vacation, is to get away from.
Yeah.
And people are filming. It's pretty wild. Have you seen those videos?
I see some of this video, like
Yeah,
the guys in Bangla Road,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, I see some.
Like they're having videos of like dudes like going with a prostitute to the ATM and filming the whole thing
Yeah.
and putting it online.
the lady boys.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like ladyboy content is massive. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
everyone wants to see that shit for some reason. So it's wild, man. But yeah, be careful. You guys whoever comes to Thailand, be careful what you're doing
be
out
careful
here.
who come to Thailand to get the
Yeah.
lady boys.
And
Might have someone with camera there.
Well, what I heard, man, is like that's why a lot of people come.
Oh,
A lot of these people do come. That's the reason.
it's like I never live with lady boy, but I see so many Europe guys like with the lady boy.
Europe is like number one on the list. They said.
And stuff.
Yeah. They don't give. Hey, let them live. You know what I mean? Let them live. But it's just when I started watching some news things about it, I was just like surprised. Like, whoa, I didn't know it was like that big. Because when you live here, it's not in your face all the time.
Yeah.
Like we live in the same area. We live in like a normal area. Like there's nothing like really big going on around here, right? You go train at the gym, go to the beach. It's like a real island life, you know? But if you go like 30 minutes down the street to Bangla, then there's like
Bangla
circus.
Patong is different, like more like crazy.
Crazy
Crazy
island. Very crazy. Are you gonna be at Fight Circus this weekend?
I got some tickets. Maybe I'm going. Yeah.
There's 2 days, I think. There's the Friday and then there's the Saturday one. From what I remember, Friday is when they have the fights, or Saturday. Saturday is when they have the fights. So I'll be there on Saturday. I don't know about Friday, but I'll be there on Saturday for sure, just to peep it out. I want to see your fighter compete.
So it's this Saturday?
Yes.
So my flights back to Vegas was supposed to be this Saturday, but I'm trying to change my flights to stay 2 weeks more because I like it Phuket too much.
That's what's happened.
It always happens.
It's always like that. 2 weeks more, 2 weeks, 1 month.
Yeah.
When you see.
And we're lucky because when we have the Brazilian passport, we allow it to stay 3 months in Thailand.
Oh, that's right. You guys are lucky.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that
But
3 months.
we are lucky, but in the same way, we are not, because when they see Brazilian passport, there's always more like they check more because they see Brazilian, it's like, oh, they here for a long time, so they always check more.
But they ain't lying. It's, they know. Like they messed with me when I came back in last time.
Really?
Yeah, they like took me aside for like 2 hours, interrogating me, and then I was just like, "What can I do? I'm not gonna fight with you guys about this. It's just like you guys have all the power.
Yeah,
I'll just sit here and you tell me what to do." and then they're like, okay, 2 hours later, you can go.
Oh, I have some feel funny. I have some friends like get like problem. Some
Yeah.
of them like one got kicked out
Oh, for
from
sure.
Brazil. Yeah,
And overstay, you gotta avoid that too.
yeah,
Overstay, yeah,
Yeah,
because you gotta pay the money. You can't even leave
yeah,
unless you pay the money. That's
yeah.
crazy, right?
I see. I hear that too.
Yeah, be careful with that. But anyways, let's jump into the first topic. We got some Brazilians in the house, so let's talk about one of the best Brazilians that we've ever seen fight ever, right? Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
He's going to come back in Rio, which is his he's the king of Rio, right? Is he the king of Rio? I just want to know from some Brazilians though, because they promote this shit like he's the king of Rio. But is he the king of Rio, or is there somebody that else from Rio that maybe could be the king of Rio?
I don't know. I think he's yeah.
Is he? He's the king.
Yeah, he always been living Rio since he
Yeah,
started his career,
that's
so
right.
he's the king of Rio, right?
So is Novo União in Rio?
In Rio,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, and that's where Bruno was there when he went back to Brazil. Bruno was
Bruno,
training.
he is from Rio.
Oh, he's from Rio
yeah.
too. Okay, so Bruno is Bruno Miranda, who we're talking about. He's training here as well, and Ota has been helping him out. But yeah, Bruno, I remember him going back and helping. I think he was training with Jose and training with all the boys, but then he was helping
Yeah.
RDA.
I was there when he was training with
Oh,
RDA.
okay.
Yeah.
So you were back in you were training.
Yeah, it
in Nova
was
União.
right before I fought Jim Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right before your debut.
Because I remember I was in Brazil visiting
Mhm.
my family for Christmas. Then Pederneiras sent me a message like wishing me a like Merry Christmas
Mhm.
and stuff. And he said, "Oh, I saw that you in Brazil. If you wanna come to and train with us, then they call me to fight Jim Miller in 5 weeks." Then I thought, oh, if I'm fighting Jim Miller, maybe Nova União is the best place to go because Jim Miller is well known for being a good jiu-jitsu guy.
Mhm.
And I was like, maybe I should try to do my camp in Nova União. Then I called Pederneiras, and Pederneiras say, "Oh, come to Rio because RDA is coming too to do his camp here, and he's fighting Rafael Fiziev, and it was like a good match because I'm a orthodox striker like Fiziev, and I like to throw left hook and kicks just like Fiziev, and RDA is like Jim Miller too, a southpaw grappler. So I thought, oh, so I should go to Rio because I get to train with RDA,
Yeah.
and who's better southpaw grappler than RDA?
Yeah.
Then I went to Rio. I had a good camp there. The only problem is that one day at sparring, a guy like torn my MCL because he did, those step kicks like John Jones used to do
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
fights.
Oblique kick.
Then that shit torn my MCL. But I still was like, it's okay. I didn't even do a MRI, nothing. But it was pretty bad. Like if someone kick like a easy kick on my knee, I would have no balance. Like I would almost fall.
Mm.
But then when I told RDA, he was like, "Oh, when I won the title against Anthony Pettis, I also had a torn MCL, but maybe it was a different.
Yeah.
Not everything can be different, right? Not everything is the same, and I was like, oh, if RDA did, I can do it too. Fuck it,
Mhm.
no MRI, nothing. Let's just fight. Then in my fight with Jim Miller, a lot of times he would kick me on my torn MCL and would stop me. Like when I was about to attack, he would kick me on the MCL and I would lose my balance. But like he was a better fighter than I, and he did use all his experience and fight IQ. And the UFC debut really is hard, is different, and but was a good experience. I learned a lot. Then after that fight, I had my first round knockout in UFC.
Did you? So how was it training in Novo União? Like that's like one of the most famous teams out of Brazil.
Yeah. So when I was a teenager, I used to fight kickboxing. I didn't have too many fights because in my state they didn't have too many shows.
Mm.
I had to travel to a bigger city. because I'm from a small town in the state of Minas Gerais, just like Glover, more like a country style type of state. Then I fought some kickboxing. I didn't have too many fights, but I was undefeated, and I want to be pro. Then I moved to Rio, and it was crazy because it was like one guy said it was like the Disneyland of MMA, because I would be in that room, and everywhere I look, I would see a guy that was UFC champion, Bellator champion. All those guys, they are like some of the most famous fighters in the world, and I was like, oh fuck, that's like my dreams coming true. And also other things that I could feel that something that would take me months to learn, I would learn in a week, because just by looking and training with all those high level guys. And I always was humble enough to ask questions all the time. And I think that helps a lot to learn too, and to improve.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing the same thing. Like today, I was doing a Muay Thai private lesson with Felipe, and I'm always asking questions and trying to learn new details.
Yeah.
And today I learned some good new details with him.
Yeah, how was it, Felipe, working with him? You know what I mean? Like, because you're going to be
Well,
moving to MMA,
yeah,
and
so
he
it's
knows
like,
so much about MMA
yeah,
too.
so it's like it's so weird because like for me, he's so much more experienced than me, but was was nice for and like it could help him like in like a little bit. Then like everything I learned in Muay Thai could help him. It's like it's a good feeling. Yeah.
I think in like being an MMA fighter is like one of the hardest things to do is like to learn things, because you're gonna learn a lot of things from many different people,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, it's
taking the
so many
things,
things at the same time, and you also, even if you are a very good Muay Thai fighter, or a very good wrestler, very good jiu-jitsu, or very good boxer, or very good kickboxer, you have to adapt that game to MMA.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was very it surprised me the way his game is already. Like for MMA, is looking really good,
Mhm.
and I was like, "What the fuck?" I thought you would be like a Muay Thai guy, like that doesn't move much, and he was so like sleeky and moving, and he keep changing. He's not like, he doesn't do like just one thing. He's always changing, 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 and he's so loose and smooth with it. And I was like, "What the fuck, bro? I'm impressed." Then he said, "No, I've been training MMA for a while already."
His style is even
Yeah.
kind of like, because I watched his last fight live, right? The last fight you had, I watched it live. And when you look at his style, you could kind of see the MMA little bit in it, because it's not like he's just like doing this. The other guy's doing this, but Felipe is like, he's doing this and then he's doing this. Like he's like doing all this shit. Like I was just like, oh, he's got some different influence. You know what I mean? It's not that pure style.
And I think like my game was always kind of like different. Like I was always the fighter more like oppression. So it's like in Muay Thai I like I slow a bit, but then like I start to pressure and pressure a lot. And I think like when I start to change to MMA, I struggle a bit, struggle a lot. Like I was getting beaten by everyone, but like then I was talking to one, seeing like other, and like I started to try to adapt my Muay Thai style for like MMA, and I started to like understand like how is like I should adapt my Muay Thai for MMA, and it's like what's kind of working.
Yeah,
I feel it's working. Like it's like even like I train in like last year I trained a lot like in different places. Like I trained in England, Brazil, in Phuket Fight Club in Bangtao. So I learn a lot from different places. Like I'm in like I train with a lot of people from different places. Really good people, really bad people. So it was really good for like adapt and change my game.
Yeah, that I think that's the hardest part of being an MMA fighter. Because like if you are like let's say you're a Muay Thai fighter, you're just Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're an MMA fighter, you meet like a Muay Thai fighter, and you'll meet a kickboxer, then you'll meet a boxer, and then they'll all teach you shit.
Yeah.
And then you gotta take shit that doesn't work, and then the shit that works for you. Now it doesn't even have to just work, but it has to work for you.
Yeah.
And you gotta be able to know how to take things in and take things out. It's just it's a lot of
I
shit.
try to like get this what you just say, like things what work for me is like I was and they start I was listening a lot like people saying like, oh, you should not kick, oh, you should not do this, you should not do that, and I was like, fuck, and I was doing a game and it was not working for me, and I was like, no, I need like put what I know to do. It's like I know how to kick, so I need kick. I cannot like no kicking, and it's like I started to try to learn like things will work to me for me, you know, and like he's making different. Like it's like
Aldo though, his striking is so like
yeah,
so high level. Even now, it's like even against the next generation, he's still one of the best guys in the world.
And he's touching BJJ.
Yeah, yeah. I remember he beat some big names in BJJ. Like he beat some like really legends in
there
BJJ.
is some guys that they are just different, like like Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar. Doesn't matter who would be their coaches, they still would be like that. They just different. And like Aldo, when I used to be in Nova Union, I always felt like it was like he could see ahead of the time. He was like ahead of everyone else. Sometimes he would like adapt things for his own self and create new stuff. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Felipe, how old are you?
26.
26. So like when Aldo started, you were like in what? A teenager.
I remember it's like Aldo,
Renan Barral,
Anderson Silva, all these Brazilians. I was like Minotauro. I used to watch there when I was a kid. And like
that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember I was a kid and I was like, Mom, I wanna do that. I wanna like I need to come back to training. I wanna be a fighter. And I'm like, shut up.
Go study up.
No,
go read a book.
We will go train.
But although, like, you know, for you, your perspective is like you were a kid watching them in Brazil, right? In the UFC. You're in the room training with them. And then you get to watch them, you know what I mean? But you already know what they're capable of. That's like two different perspectives, right? Yeah. And then there's me, I'm just watching it as an adult from like where I'm just like writing stuff about them, right? I think Aldo is probably he's top 5, I think, ever. To me, in my eyes. Aldo. He's top 5. Undefeated. Who else did that?
Yeah.
And he fought everybody. He didn't there was no ever they said, oh, Jose Aldo didn't fight somebody.
Yeah.
Never. That never happened. You know what I mean? Maybe he could have fought more often, but that's about it, right? But like he's top 5, I think, in the world. Just like full skill set. Even though you don't really see his BJJ, you know it's like extremely high level, right? Good. But yeah, man. But I think they fucked up on this like matchmaking though. Like they're making him fight Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez is good, and he could probably beat Aldo, but it's not the name that you want Aldo to be fighting in Rio.
Yeah, when I saw that fight, was I couldn't understand why they matched that.
But yeah, he had a theory though.
I was what I say for him, like is like sometimes they get this fight. It's a good fight, but it's not like top fight for just he come back in. No, like just one more.
Jonathan, fight. He always do exciting fights, so it's gonna be a good fight.
Jonathan Martinez is like he's a fighter and he's violent and like he's very good. But the crazy part about that is someone call it? Or is it your alarm? Go ahead. But the thing about Jonathan Martinez is like he's like his personality is like he's so shy. Like you never see him like I've done interviews with him and he just doesn't really say much.
Yeah, it's like not a like psychopath.
He doesn't really say much, but he speaks English like that's his first language.
He's really serious. He almost looked like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Other day, I saw him other day, and he was inviting me to go to Texas because I think he has a gym out there. And I felt like maybe he's trying to kill me.
Set you up.
because I used to be for a little bit at Factory X.
Yeah.
So I was afraid maybe he's mad at me because I left Factory X.
He's like, yo, you left too. You're in Texas now. But you know, like it just shows you that Jose Aldo, like he's respected by the people that he needs to be respected by. Because like even Volkanovski will tell you that Jose Aldo is the featherweight GOAT. He said that before. You know what I mean? Even though he beat him in Brazil, but he will give you, you know, you gotta respect the people that came before you, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this matchmaking is kind of very odd to me. This is my thought. I think Jose Aldo, he's trying to fight out his contract. I think he wants to leave the UFC. So he's gonna fight a couple of times. His contract's done. And then he could go to do whatever he wants. Because
probably already has so much money.
Yeah, but I don't think it's about money to him, you know? Because what's better than money? More money. Right? There's
money.
And if you could go outside the UFC and fight one time and make as much as 5 fights in the UFC.
Like France.
Exactly. Francis showed everybody. It's possible, right? Not everybody can do it. Let's just be real. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody's going to leave the UFC. It's like, that's bad advice for some people. Some people it's bad advice. Don't, you know, like, leave the UFC, go sign with the PFL. You're going to make way more money. And yeah, for Francis, it's good advice, but some people it's not so good advice. But I think a lot of people, you know, we'll talk about it soon, is Masvidal. He also left the UFC, or the UFC is allowing him to box Nate Diaz.
Oh.
Nate Diaz is not part of the UFC, but Jorge still, I think he's still under contract. But I think a lot of these guys are understanding like, yo, I need to, because in the UFC now they're letting fighters fight the contracts out. Like, if you don't have to re-sign. Like they let you fight until the last fight of your contract now. Some people are doing it, right? Did you do that? Or did you re-sign before your next contract?
I did re-sign before my last fight.
Okay. See that they do that, and they also let people fight out their contract. But now, from like me interviewing fighters and asking them about it, some of them decide that they're gonna fight out their contract. Because now they see that, oh, there's PFL. I'm good enough to go there and make money and maybe even win the season. And then they see Bellator and they see all these other
But there's a thing about that too, like PFL, there's a tournament, and also if something happened, like you get injury or something happened and you can't fight, you fought. But like UFC, if you get injuries, okay, because they have shows every weekend. So I think maybe I think UFC is good to be in UFC because they have shows every weekend.
Well, there's a lot of great things about being in the UFC.
It's the highest level and it's the hardest competition. But also, if you can put on good performance, you can renegotiate your contract and get paid more and more. It all depends if you put on a show or not, if you win or not, if you winning or not, right?
I think also now it's a little bit harder than it was, like, let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, because 5 years or 10 years ago you could leave the UFC and go beat up dudes in other promotions. They're not at your level because you know the level of the UFC. But now,
and now that PFL bought Bellator, now it's gonna get deep.
Deep. Like you got there's some crazy matchups in that season coming up. But it's just it like I said earlier, it's not for everybody. You cannot give everybody the same advice. You know what I mean? Some guys, you could tell them like, oh, like some fighters know that they're never going to be champion. There's a lot of fighters like that. They know, like, I'm not going to never be champion. So, okay, how am I going to take advantage of this as much as possible? And then they have their career like that. But others, they're chasing the belts. Others, some people, I think some fighters are just happy to be in the UFC too, some of them. You know, like, they're just happy to be there just so they could be called a UFC fighter. And then there's no motivation for them. It's just like, I did my job. I
just got there.
Yeah, I just got there. And there's people like that.
I think it's way harder to stay in the UFC than getting signed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And some of these fighters, man, they've been with the UFC for like 10 years plus. Like Jim Miller, you know, we talk about Jim Miller. Jim Miller's been around for what?
Oh, I know what you mean. There is some fighters that have been in UFC for 10 years, but they don't fight too often, right?
Yeah.
Jim Miller is different because
story.
he's always fighting a lot.
Yeah. But there's guys that you're like, what? They're still with the UFC? Like you don't even know.
That's true, yeah.
And you're like, and they get matched up, like, you know, like there's sometimes you get weird matchups. You're like, what? That dude's still in the UFC? And then and the fighters are probably like, what? Why am I getting offered this guy? and then you're like, oh, he's still signed, and then you just fight him or whatever. But
now I'm in my 30s. I want to fight more often.
yeah, you have to. Yeah, you're in your like these are what they call like the prime years, right? Like your early 30s. So you do have to fight often.
Yeah.
But Aldo, of course, you guys are gonna be rooting for Aldo, and I always root for Aldo, except for against Volkanovski. But Aldo, I always root for Aldo, no matter who it is. Yeah, man, I hope he wins. I hope he retires, like legit retires in Rio. I think maybe that could be a possible thing too. Like he really wants to have a retirement fight. True. Yeah, that's why they gave him this fight. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think that's possible? It's a good idea.
I don't know.
It's not a good idea because you could lose bad, right? That's the chance he's gonna have to take, Aldo. But yeah. How did he get the scar on his face again?
Oh, I think what you see in the
I think when he was a kid, something like he was a baby or kid, something like hot.
Something burned his face.
Burned his face.
Burned his face.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's got one of those like prison like cuts, you know, like like people get cut in prison. It kind of looks like he got one of those, right? Scarface. That was his name, right? Scarface.
Yeah, nickname.
But was it because of the movie?
I think because I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. It's just like maybe just because it has a scar on his face.
Yeah, just because he has a scar on his face.
Was Scarface that movie big in Brazil?
No, and when I moved to America, one friend showed me that movie, and he said that movie in America everyone needs to watch. It's like
I've seen it like 30 times.
Yeah.
Scarface.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Tony
No, I
Montana.
didn't see it.
You never see Scarface with Tony Montana? That's like a gangster, like the #1 gangster movie in America, basically ever. So Scarface with Al Pacino.
Have it in Netflix or something?
Netflix, you can watch on Netflix. Oh, you gotta watch that. How you saw it for the first time when you came to America?
When I moved to America, one friend told me, you never watched that movie?
Yeah.
Then I watched it.
Everybody will say that in America. They're like, you never see Scarface? The movie's from 1978. And people still watch it. Because it's just like
you need people like me.
Yeah. Yeah, you need people. There's so many like good lines in that.
Yeah.
It's like the whole like remember the Nick Diaz. In that movie, he says, fuck the Diaz brothers.
What's his right? The only thing I have in my life is my balls
and my word. That's one of the best ones, right? And then they hang the dude from the helicopter. He shows up. Oh, you gotta watch it. It's so good.
I'll watch it.
Very good, very good. Yes, I've never met anybody that hasn't seen Scarface.
Really?
Because most people I know that they've seen it already. But yeah, and plus he's 26 though.
Yeah.
He's 26. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's so many good those types of movies, right? But Scarface is probably up there. It's because it's like the accent too. It's like it's so good. It's like you talking to me, like that type of accent. You know, what I mean? It's funny as shit. I love it. We could talk about this all night. But anyway, yeah, Jose Aldo, he'll be back for Rio, the pay-per-view. Let's talk about Garry. Okay, so this is a situation. I don't know if you guys have been following the situation. So basically, Colby Covington, he's lost, right? He's lost, not lost as a lost in a fight. He's just lost in his mind, right? He makes a video calling out Garry, but just talking mad shit about his wife.
Oh,
just mad shit about his wife, right? Just like disrespectful, like real bad. He's on the boat, right? He's like wearing some stupid like Miami Jack like style clothing. Scarface. He looked like one of those, like he was dressed like Scarface.
Then he hired some strippers.
Yeah, then he hired some strippers to stand there on the boat with him, right? But yeah, he's like made a video calling out Garry, talking mad shit about his wife, and then Garry responds and says, "We should have a fight, but it's until someone quits. Until someone quits. Basically, like until someone dies, right? Because if you go to the fight, you don't want to die or win, right? And that's kind of a stupid thing." But in the video, he talks about like how Colby's talking about his wife and all this stuff, and he shouldn't be talking about his wife. You want to talk shit?
Too much.
Talk shit about me,
Just like when he talk about Leon Edwards, that
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I see that too.
What do you?
like sometimes his trash talk is really funny, but sometimes he he goes too far, right?
It's like this. Sometimes it's funny because it's so ridiculous.
Retarded.
Yeah, retarded. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. That's the perfect word. It is. It's so ridiculous, right? But now it's like it's getting old to me. Like I enjoyed it too. Like you know who else is old to me is like Sean Strickland. It gets old after a while. The same shit, the same talking. You know what I mean? It's just to
Yeah.
me it gets old after a while. It's not like nothing new. But anyways, let's say you're in this situation. You're Ian Gary and this guy is talking mad shit, and but he's like, "Oh, I'm a character." No, is that can that
Yeah,
protect you?
if the guy
Mota?
talks about my family,
Yeah.
I would fuck him up.
Yeah, that is so him like saying, "Oh, it's my character," and blah blah. You would like, do you consider like trash talking as not just like in the ring, but like it can happen anywhere?
Uh,
It's already bad if he's talking about us. It's if he's talking about me, but talking about my family,
Mhm.
then that's like very disrespectful, right?
yeah, you talk about the fighter is one thing,
Yeah.
but his wife, his family, like
Mm.
that's like it's too dirty, you know?
My
Like
last opponent, just because he was saying some things, like it wasn't nothing crazy. I already like took a screenshot, make like a folder, so I can look and like, okay, what the fuck. Then
Hey, was
sometimes,
I one of those?
then sometimes like when I was doing some crazy, we call like the sequel circuit, like Bruno
Yeah.
does
Yeah,
on
the
Saturday.
circuit. Yeah,
There's like crazy, like to be
yeah.
almost dead. Every time I would be like exhausted, I just remember all his words in my head. Like, okay, motherfucker.
See,
Then the
hey,
fight lasted 66 seconds.
60.
But now but now
You're
I
good.
see his it was just like he was just trying to, I don't know, he was just excited and he wants to build his name.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy, and I hope he's gonna do good in his next fight. He already has a fight now, and he's a very good fighter.
yeah. He's the thing is like I
Yeah.
think what he was saying because one of the interviews he did was with me, right? And he was
Oh,
saying those things,
and in
and
the interview, he say, "I'm gonna knock out Nicholas Morton.
yeah,
He doesn't have much. Maybe he has some defensive wrestling,
yeah,
but that's not gonna get things too
yeah,
far." Blah blah blah. And he said that his Anderson Silva was his idol, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he's not
And-
even black. Anderson Silva is black and Brazilian.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, like he was saying, was he was trash talking, but it was about the fight, you
Yeah.
know. And then you could kind of, it can motivate you, and you could be like affected by it. But it's not like he's like like you said, talking about
disrespect.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
disrespect. Trash talking is disrespect
Yeah.
in any level. Like if
Yeah.
I went up to you and I'm a fighter in the UFC, and I'll say, yeah, I'll knock him out. I'll knock him out. I'll knock him out. That's
Yeah.
disrespect, no
Yeah.
matter what. But
Yeah,
it's not
and
like
I was respecting him a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Maybe I don't know. Maybe people do that because they want to make money, like Conor. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I think after corner, like a lot of people like is going heads up and like saying so much shit like, oh,
yeah.
I will get like a lot money, get famous like
And,
that, like
and at the same time, sometimes it's cool the way the people from Australia, the attitude they have. The people from Australia, the people from England, like some people from the States or Europe.
yeah,
It's cool, like the confidence, because sometimes people don't want to see people that likes to play the victim,
yeah,
and sometimes being humble is important, but sometimes being too humble at some point that you like, that you kind of like putting your head
yeah.
down, then people don't like that shit.
No,
People,
people want
yeah,
people to stand up for themselves.
yeah.
yeah,
So if someone's talking shit, they want somebody to be able to
yeah.
come back. Even though you're humble, you
I think
gotta protect
I
yourself.
think I always saw Adesanya complaining about that, saying that in his country they want everyone to be humble,
Yeah,
and we have kind of like this happens in Brazil a lot sometimes, like anything is a reason for someone to say, oh, this guy, he's not humble anymore, he changed, blah blah blah. And it's kind of like a mentality sometimes to be like like to be like head down and kind of like playing the victim, and that's not good, right?
Yeah, I think the same. I think like when you need to be humble, but like you need to be confident. Like you need like be confident like you are like a monster, you are a
Yeah.
beast. Like you is like you will go there and like you will show like your work, you know, you will show like what you can do. But we know you can do that without disrespect to someone, you know, and just showing who you are. But you don't need to be too humble and or
Yeah.
too cocky.
I don't know if
You gotta find the balance, you know,
Yeah.
like you gotta find the way that you want to be, and you could be yourself. And you know, some people they know how to be themselves, but they know how to make it a little bit extra, you know, when it's
Yeah.
time to be extra, and then they go back to themselves, right? Some people they can't do that. It's just not in their nature. It's not in their nature. They don't have it like to be like if someone's talking shit, they can't talk shit back because they don't know how to. Even though they've been around talking shit all their life, they
Yeah.
just don't know how. It's not clicking in their mind, you know, or they're just too angry. They just get too angry, and there's like their emotion takes over their mind. You know what I mean? So they can't really say anything except for, you know, like the same. You know, we see fighters say the same thing over and over again when they get
Yeah.
angry, right? Like the whole like when Izzy went into the cage, when Duplessis won the title. No, when Duplessis won, when he beat Whitaker. Remember when Izzy Adesanya went into the cage? And he was just like, yo, nah. You know, remember he was like,
it's almost he had so much emotions like
yeah,
deep inside of him,
exactly.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just some people show it differently, but some people
Yeah.
just don't have it.
We
you know?
don't know what happened in his past. Maybe people
Exactly.
treated him wrong, and
Oh, guaranteed. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and he just hold all that
Yeah.
those things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like people that I know that grew up, especially like,
That's a
let's
big
be real.
motivation too.
Like if you're darker skinned, right?
Yeah.
And you grow up in a country that's not darker skinned,
Yeah.
there's struggles, man. Like
Yeah.
you know, people want to avoid that shit, but it's real. Like
It's
anywhere
real.
you go, it's struggles, dude. Like you're gonna run into fucking stupid people. You're gonna come run into racist
Yeah,
people.
just like when you are immigrant in a
Yeah.
different country, there's some people that are gonna be stupid.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure, man. It's
And
just,
you're gonna be like, yeah, one day I'm gonna show you motherfuckers.
but in these two, they're not immigrants. Well, in Garry kind of. Well, not really because it's an international sport, right? But do you think that the thing is Colby Covington, right? He's lost 3 title fights. He hasn't beaten anybody in the top 15. Nobody on that list he's beaten. He's lost to everybody he's fought. And now he's asking for the Ian Garry fight. Do you think the UFC should put that fight together?
Who is asking? Colby?
Colby wants it, yeah. Because he's attacking somebody that will create controversy for him.
No, so I think this is just a game for him against fight. Like,
It is.
but I think UFC don't even like is like the thing. Like, I hope they fight for him like his match. But like, yeah, it's hard like situation.
That's what they want. I think that's what Colby wants. I bet you Colby already talked to the matchmaker about this. And then he made the video.
Yeah.
To create some stir, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's all planned out for him. He know, like his mind is already planned out to like go after Ian Garry.
Yeah.
It's easy target for him because
That's
it's
how
white.
he saved his career when he was
Yeah.
about to get cut from the UFC. He said those things in Brazil. Brazil, you all filthy animals.
Yeah, like that
and
was
and, and I
nuts.
think I saw when he went to college, he had a psychologist degree, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
So he understand a little bit about those things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And he was like, he went to the same college as John Jones, I think. The year after John Jones, I believe. I'm not for sure, but yeah, they went to the same college, I believe. But Colby Covington, his shit's getting old. Like this shit is old now. We've been hearing it for years. I thought at one point he was going to be the champion, but we've seen what he can do now. He doesn't look like he's getting better. You know what I mean? Like that last fight was really bad. Like something must have been really wrong, but who knows? He said his foot broke, but there's no proof that his foot broke. Do you understand? He's saying that his foot broke in the first round, but there's no proof. Because people are saying that they saw him after the fight walking around like normal. If your foot's broke, you're not walking around normal after the fight, right? It's just not happening.
But
But
even if you just hurt your foot,
Yeah.
you wouldn't walk normal.
no. I remember your feet after your last fight. They were like this big. Look
And I
like
didn't,
monster.
bro.
Yeah. Well, it was just from swelling, right?
Yeah, I was just
Bruising, right?
Like we just
Yeah.
get big and then like
Yeah.
after like get better again.
Yeah. So when you hear something like that, like, oh, I broke my foot, and then they're walking around the day after the fight, you're like, that's complete bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
you, like, what's the worst like bruising you've gotten? Because I've seen his foot, man. His foot was pretty
Yeah.
fucking big.
I saw other day that picture when John Jones won the title, defended his title, and his toe was like,
Yeah. Against Chael Sonnen, I remember that.
I saw this one.
Yeah.
This one was pretty tough.
Yeah. What about you?
like, you mean in a fight?
Yeah. After a fight, you're just like, a couple days later, you're just like, fuck, my knee's like this. Or
I think when I used to fight kickboxing, I
Uh-huh.
would be limping in the hotel after the
all the
fight.
time, every fight.
But in MMA, I don't think I ever got hurt in an MMA fight.
Oh,
I
that's
think
good luck.
MMA hurts a lot less than Muay Thai and kickboxing.
Yeah.
'Cause I think kickboxing and Muay Thai is like you're kind of going like shot for shot in some
Yeah.
ways, so
And-
you're landing more and,
No, and
hitting,
like
getting hit
you
more.
hitting shin
Yeah,
and shin
yeah.
with like each other, like it's
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like I've went shin to shin with like Muay Thai fighters, just like, oh, let's
yeah.
see, and I'd be like, they're lightly tapping me on the shin to shin. I'm like, oh my god, like how does
It's
that
like-
even?
this shin here you can see is like it
Yeah,
would be like
Yeah.
was like I heard I have a I was like I fight one time in Brazil and like I was 1 month doing physiotherapy like for try to heal my shin.
Mhm.
My knee I fucked up, my ribs.
Yeah, like on my last fight, I was watching on SPN, and when I threw a kick, I could hear the loud noise of the kick. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, how did I didn't hurt my shin in that kick? Then I went home. Then I was like punching the bag. Then when I kicked the bag, I'm like, oh fuck.
So like the pain that fighters have to go through, it doesn't matter if it's Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, it's just the pain that you guys have to go through for a fight.
The weight cut's crazy too.
Yeah, but yeah, the weight cut's crazy too. But the pain of like shin to shin, shit, like even like blocking like kicks with your arms and like
Yeah.
because people are breaking their arms now.
Yeah, yeah.
blocking kicks.
It's like in Muay Thai, you don't block with your arm
Yeah.
because like the shin in your leg is like, let's say like your legs like is 10 kg,
Mhm.
your arm is 5.
Yeah.
It's like your legs will be always more strong than your arms. So it's like break so much easy,
Mhm.
you know. So it's like it's more like it's always hurt more. And like I say for some people, like some people asking like, oh, what you do, how you like fight? It's like how you do. I'm like, I think you just need like learn to enjoy get hit.
Mhm.
You need learn to like enjoy that, you know. Like if you know it's like you'll be scared of in like of the pain. It's like you in the wrong place, you know.
You're in the wrong place.
The wrong job.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out here because you will get hurt. Yeah.
That's literally true. Get out of here because you will get hurt. Like
Yeah.
it'll real
The
be bad.
hurt business.
Yeah, the hurt business. Yeah, like even like me, like when I spar sometimes, and then like I'll get hit. At first, dude, even now I'm still kind of like I don't like getting hit that much, right? But I'm more used to it than I used to be. But even now, like I'm just like, you know, like you think you're like head movement, but it's just like you're just flinching because the dude's moving his hands and shit. You're just like fuck. But there's certain spots you could get hit, right, and get hit pretty solid, where you could absorb it, right?
You're
a little
hitting
bit.
his hand with your head.
Yeah,
Yeah. You hit a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like all right, you can't miss, you know. But then like I've been hit in the jaw in like certain spots where like you're like oh shit, but it's the same power as the getting hit like maybe right here, but right here it's like I could take the impact a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then when I get smacked in the jaw like on the side right here, I've been hit in the jaw to where I felt like there was like blood. I could feel blood going down my jaw like this.
We didn't need a lot of power and a lot of weight to put someone out with with a hit in the chin.
Yeah. I think like if you're not, I guess as a fighter, you have to get used to that, right? To understand like what real pain is, because there's certain pain is like it's pain, but it goes away.
The real pain,
Yeah.
the only real pain is losing.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
the
like
real
it's the
thing.
worst part.
Okay.
It's like if he's like we just fight and don't lose weight, I could fight all the time. But lose weight is the worst.
No, but I'm saying not losing weight, like losing the fight.
Oh yeah. Well, that is major pain.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
losing the fight's the worst pain.
It's like a lot. I guess it's more like like psychological, mental, the pain, right? Of like I lost, now I got to come back.
If you win, you can be. If I win, I can be in a wheelchair and laughing.
Oh, okay. But if you lose, you could be in a wheelchair.
Oh.
But you see that a lot too. Like the guy that won goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
And the guy that lost is like sitting at the show watching the fights. It's like, who won that fight? The guy in the hospital because he won, right?
And he made double money.
Exactly, double money. But yeah, I don't know. Are you tired of Covington? Do you think like Covington is just? Look at him. Look, you see it over here.
I think he's funny.
He is funny. He does have some funny things, right? Because it's like now it's just corny funny, you know, like you know what he's gonna say, and but yeah, like.
Oh, Dustin Poirier hates him, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, a lot of the guys that I
what
talked
is that
to,
video? He say Louisiana or something.
it's like hillbillies, right? Hillbillies and like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like, but yeah, like
when I went to ATT, I met Dustin Poirier. He seems to be a very cool guy, very nice guy.
Yeah, it seems like the guys that I talked to from ATT, they all hate him.
Colby.
Yeah, because he's just,
Masvidal.
Oh, Masvidal.
Beat him in the street.
I don't mind that. Hey, it's street rules, right? It's street rules. Hey, the crazy part is like he like legit.
And it was a bitch move that he went to the police, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You said all that shit. Even he would talk about his family too.
Yeah.
And they were close too. They were like close, right?
Then he made how we say, I forgot. When you go to the cops to
snitch.
No.
Drop a dime.
I forgot.
But yeah, he did go to the police and like I think he chipped his tooth and broke his Rolex. And then like I think that's what happened. So like and then he talked about he had like damage to his brain or something like that. And next thing you know, he's fighting for the title again.
Yeah, that's really bad. That's bad.
Stupid. But my view is like if you talk shit like him, I don't care if it's a character. You're talking about real people.
Yeah.
Right? And if you talk shit about him, you talk shit about Jorge, you talk shit about his family. Jorge beat your ass in the street. That's what happens to you. That's the repercussions of.
Yeah, there was a bitch move.
Yeah.
You want to have a character, a crazy character, you will meet some crazy people too. You need to be ready,
Yeah.
Like.
But he should know. Colby should know. He knows Masvidal. Like close. Like he should know Masvidal's like he's a street guy.
Yeah, Vanderlei, I think it was Vanderlei Silva. He used to say something that was respeito conserva os dentes, which means respect, keep your teeth healthy. And it's true.
Well, in like like in Brazil, right? Like us, like me, I watch like fighting and stuff, but I don't really know what's going on in Brazil. I don't know how like what the Brazilian fans are like or nothing like that. But and also like fighters, like has there been like a real Brazilian like gangster that became a fighter? Are there really like a famous one? Are there or there's just so many that we don't we just don't even know about people's past and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, there's so many out there like that lived like that life when they're young and then they kind of change their life.
Oh, I don't know if you like have someone like was like a drug dealer, but like I think pretty much everyone was like have like some crazy shit before, like crazy past. I think for you become a fighter, you had to have something wrong in your life.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta have something wrong. Something's gotta be not normal.
Yeah.
Right? But like, if you
Juki.
think about like the fighters that come from, because the main cities are the what are the main cities? Like you got Rio, you got Sao
Depends.
Paulo.
São Paulo, so it's like Rio is more like tourist, right? It's like
More like beach,
yeah, and
Sao
São
Paulo?
Paulo is more like a, it's more
big city.
business, like so it's like have a lot more shows in São Paulo. It's
Okay.
like it's a big city,
Okay.
so it's like have a show pretty much like all the time, like yeah, every month have like so many shows.
If we can compare, it's like Rio is like California, São Paulo is like New York
Oh,
City,
okay.
and my state Minas Gerais like Texas.
Okay. So you're like a Texas boy.
Yeah.
But so like in there, like do you remember any fighters like back in the day that were like huge in Brazil, but they never made it to UFC?
Or like, of course, like in our whole career, we always seen a lot of good fighters that never made to the UFC. Yeah, because yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like it's just like that thing I say when we did the interview,
Mhm.
me and you. It's not the one that shines the brightest, but the one that it's not the one that burns the brightest,
No, shines the brightest, but
but
the
the
one that
one that
burns the
burns the
longest.
longest.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah,
That's a good quote, man. That really got into my mind a little bit.
Yeah,
I like that.
I saw that.
Yeah,
You talk
I like
about
that. That's why I made the clip. You know, I was like, that's a nice one. You know, I like that. I actually like think about that because it's like it's true about everything.
yeah,
Not even
about
just
everything.
fighting.
Yeah,
Like just grind,
Yeah.
and then it will come. Your opportunity will come. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Some people will get it early, and some people get it in late in life.
Yeah.
It's like Morgan Freeman. You know Morgan Freeman? You know
Morgan
the
Freeman.
old black
Yeah,
guy in
yeah.
all the movies, all the like
But he got famous after he was older.
he was
Right?
always I think he was already 50,
Yeah.
and then he became famous as an actor.
I saw that Samuel Jackson, his first,
Yeah,
the first one that made him famous. He was already 43 years old.
exactly.
I
Right.
saw some guy, some like I don't know if the guy that started KFC or something. He was
Mhm.
60, and I saw a lot of other examples like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that reminded me of what you said. Is
Yeah.
like a lot of those people they grinded for a long time.
yeah.
Most of the people, other people probably quit, but they were doing the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
shit.
there's so many people that are very young. They already giving up.
Yeah. And that's what makes it the difference between a lot of people. It's like
Yeah.
there's certain people that give up, and some certain people they keep going, but you know sometimes life just
It's not for you.
yeah it's not for you, or there's
Yeah.
certain things happen in life, like you have kids, or
Oh yeah.
things like that. There's many different things,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not who shines the brightest, but who burns the longest. I love that. I love that. Kids should learn that shit, because nowadays kids don't wait for shit.
No.
They're just fucking. Hey, kids don't know how to
You
act.
mean like the they very anxious nowadays?
Yeah, more
Yeah,
anxious.
because they can have everything so
Yeah,
fast.
everything, dude.
In Brazil, we
Yeah.
call the Nutella.
Nutella.
People Nutella.
Nutella, like that spread.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Nutella, the chocolate.
Yeah.
We call Nutella people.
Yeah, with the internet now,
Yeah.
made everything like that, right?
And now you can't like hit your kids or nothing.
Wow.
Back then you could hit your kid. Like I grew up getting my ass beat.
I grew up getting my ass beat a lot. And if I complain,
Outside too, you know what I mean? Like it's a normal thing. Here, you never see anything like that anymore. You know what I mean? Because kids, they think that they
All
have
the
power.
kids are inside the house playing video games.
It's wild.
I
Man.
grew up and playing in the streets all the time.
Yeah.
Like today, like you go like in the street, you don't see no one playing in the streets anymore.
No. Well, Thai kids, because they're
Yeah,
like they
Thai
live a
kid-
humble life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Thai kids, they
when you come here and you live amongst everybody, like because there's everybody, right? There's rich people, middle class people, like not even I don't think really there's that many poor people in Thailand, because like they live like the lifestyle, you know what I mean? Because they live on an island. Like how advanced should your life be on an island?
And sometimes people will be like, "Oh, how come those people be so happy and they don't have much?"
live so much happy.
Yeah,
so
because
much
they're
than
happy,
the other.
because they're living their best
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I heard that a lot of kids they get depressed And
Man,
yeah,
that really bothers me.
I didn't even knew what was a depression when I was a kid.
Yeah, you didn't. You didn't know.
I learned depression was
Yeah.
like last year.
There was none of that. Like if you're sad, they be like, "Well, get your ass in the room and
Yeah,
stay in
I'm
there.
like,
and shit. Don't be sad
you-
around me."
Don't cry close to me.
Yeah.
Here, go to your room.
Now it's like, "Oh, Kenny, he's depressed. We gotta help him. Everybody circle around Kenny and let's pray for him." You know, like, come on. He's just sad because he broke his toy or something. Come on, like, let him get over it. Like, there's
Yeah.
no like, let yourself fix yourself.
Yeah.
There's no more of that really anymore. Everybody wants to be like, "Oh, this is wrong with him," or "This is what's wrong," or "You did this to him." It's like, man, I come from old school days. Like even him, he's much younger than me. It's like he grew up with his getting his ass beat. That generation is done, right? Maybe some countries is different, but like,
In Brazil, you cannot anymore too.
yeah, it's like
yeah.
man, the U.S. they mess up everything, right? They start doing it, and like everybody else, Korea, same thing. Because in Korea, they used to be able to hit you in school, the teachers. So I thought that was like a pretty good thing, right? But not really, because I don't want my kid to get hit by a teacher. But anyways, it's okay for me. They took that out. Kids went wild, man. Now kids will do anything. Teachers are committing suicide because of kids.
Dang.
in Brazil, you have like kids hitting teachers all
Yeah.
the time.
It's like
Yeah.
kids is wild, man. I would never think of
Even
hitting a
parents.
kid.
Even parents. Even
Parents
parents.
are coming to hit the teacher.
Parents getting beat
Oh,
by
oh,
the
yeah,
their own kid.
Yeah, that's sad.
My kid tried to hit me with my wife. I fucking hit you.
Yeah, you'd be like that. You remember you ever heard that? It's like, I'll bring you into this. I brought you into this world, and I'll take you out of this world. That's what dad say, you know. Get your ass beat, right?
You living in my house.
Yeah.
I'm your mom. I say
Yeah.
what you do.
I own you.
I own you.
I own you. You're like you're mine, right? I remember the last time like my dad like actually like beat my ass. The last time was I remember like I think I snuck out the house. You know, it's like you want to go to a party and stuff, right? And you wait till like your parents are like you think they're sleeping, and you're like, all right, you already have your clothes on, you get up and you're like, all right. Because like my room was across from the laundry room. So I just opened my door, walk across the hall, open the laundry door, and the laundry door room is the outside, right? So I just went in there. But my mom heard the whole thing, I guess. She just let me go.
Oh.
So I just left and I came back same way, right? And my mom like she opened the laundry door when I came in. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just putting some clothes away." Like, I'm taking my clothes off. And she's like, no, I know what you did. And then she woke up my dad. And my dad, you know, dads don't want to be bothered, right? Especially by the wife, like yapping at them and shit. So this is like in the middle of the night. It's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I just got home. So I'm in my room just waiting. And my mom goes into the room, wakes my dad up and is saying some shit to him. And then he comes in, he just comes in and looks at me and just goes, boom, just punched me right in the face. And I got knocked out. No. I was like, my bed is here and the door is here, right? And he comes in, boom, fell in my bed and woke up like that.
It was just a dream.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I ain't doing that again. That's what I said to myself. I was like, I ain't doing that again. I don't want to get knocked out every night. You know what I mean? But if my dad did that now and someone found out, they'd be putting that fool in jail.
My mom, you know, they sweep. My mom break the things from like the iron thing from inside the wardrobe.
Yeah.
The one you hung up the clothes.
The hanger.
She break that on me. So many things.
My mom was like throwing like remote controls. You know, the remote controls back in the day, those big ones, she would throw those, like shoes.
My mom having shoes was like that big, like and like she threw that shit on me, and like I tried to run, but I always hit on my back. Was like
you do that.
My mom was like that too. My mom was wild too.
Yeah. Those moms in those times, they were all like the toughest, I think.
Yeah.
Because they would have to like raise boys.
And my mom used to be like, if my son does something, and like that, and the police comes, I'm gonna give them to the police. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
My mom say this too. If
Yeah.
you do something wrong, I bring you for the police.
Dude, my brother, like, cause do you guys have brothers?
I have two sisters.
You have two
Oh, I
sisters?
didn't.
Yeah,
You don't have no
I'm
brother?
the older.
See, I have a brother who was younger, and he did like college wrestling. He fought and everything, right? But he retired because he injured. But like when we were younger, I was always bigger than him. So like whenever like he'd get mad at me, he'd go to the kitchen, and like the thing that has all the knives in it, that thing,
Yeah,
it has all the
yeah,
different
yeah.
knives. So my brother would just get the biggest knife out, and he'd just be like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," and he'd just chase me like with the knife, legit. Like I was like scared for my life, and it's always happened like that. I don't think kids are playing like that anymore, though. Right?
Oh,
All right, let's move on to the next one. We got a couple more minutes left. Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, June 1st, pay-per-view boxing match. I don't, I'm not the biggest fan of Nate Diaz, to be honest with you. Jorge Masvidal, I like him, but I don't know. Is this gonna be something that people want to watch?
Yeah.
Like,
think
would you
so,
pay?
Uh,
yeah.
It's gonna be 10 rounds of
Oh.
10
10 rounds.
10 rounds of boxing in Los Angeles.
I think boxing, Nate has more chance against Masvidal
Yeah.
because the MMA fight was hard. The way the Masvidal was throwing the kicks
Yeah.
was so good.
And I think Diaz is more of a boxing style where you can do the volume,
more boxing style.
and they're wearing the bigger gloves, so it's less likely of a knockout. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like I think in the MMA fight, Masvidal was messing him up with the hands too at first. Remember he cut him?
I feel like he was mixing with kicks, right?
Yeah. Oh, he was kicking him for sure. Yeah, because I think he landed a head kick at one time or
Yeah.
something, right? But
Maybe that's how Nate got that cut.
maybe
I think it was.
But I don't know. To me, I don't, because they're charging $80.
Oh, that's a lot.
$80.
$80 for this fight. It's like that's like UFC prices, right? And, people aren't even paying that for UFC. So, but if I'm gonna pick someone to win, I would pick Diaz to win because he just had a boxing fight.
Yeah.
So he's gonna carry that experience, right, with him. Masvidal, I never, because Masvidal is a street fighter. Like when you got a guy like him, like a street fighter, you can never underestimate that type of guy.
He's
right?
so good, and
He's so
even
good.
in the street fights, he looks so technical. He
Yeah,
looks so technical in
He
street
did.
fights.
he did.
I'd be like, this motherfucker, how?
Yeah, in the backyard,
And he
Man.
still looks so good.
and those dudes were like way bigger than him. I think a lot of
Yeah.
those dudes that he fought. But yeah, he did look technical compared to those guys.
Yeah, because when I used to be young, in my first fight, I used to brawl a lot, and he
Mhm.
didn't brawl. He's just very technical and
Yeah.
patience fighting the street.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Diaz in this fight. I think he wins a decision because I don't. When's the last time Diaz knocked somebody out? Like really knocked somebody out? I don't think that's.
Yeah,
ever-
he's a guy that he can fight for a long time,
Yeah.
right? He's like longer. I don't know how to say.
He's like he's a
More points. 5.
points fighter. Yeah, people
And
don't
that's
want to
and
like. They
that's
don't
why
like to
he's
say
so
that.
good. He can do like long runs. He can be in the
Yeah.
bike for
Yeah.
hours. Yeah,
Cardio for days.
yeah, he has a lot of.
But
cardio.
he's beaten some good names though. Like he's beaten Ferguson. He beat
Yeah, I think we
McGregor.
can say that he's a
Pettis,
legend, right?
Jim
Yeah,
Miller,
well, I think
Donald
he's
Cerrone,
really
He is
good.
a legend.
Gomi. Yeah, he's done great for himself, right?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor,
He
that
made
that
so
fight
much
changed his
money.
life for real. Changed his life. Because without that fight, all of this shit would never be happening. Think about it. Nate Diaz would never be this famous. I don't think, because it takes Conor McGregor to make somebody like that, right? So, but anyways, I think Diaz should be able to win this fight. Do you think that the UFC they need to do Diaz McGregor 3?
I don't know
I
what
don't know.
McGregor is doing, if he's gonna fight or
Yeah.
not,
He's doing movie now.
and why he's looking so big right now.
Yeah. What way he will fight now? Like
I think they're looking at him fighting at 170. But the rumor, like I said to other people, is like right now they're figuring out to make a new division for McGregor, the 165 division. This is the big rumor, right? I don't know if they're really serious about it, but if they do, I think it's a good thing. It doesn't matter if Conor McGregor is fighting for the title. Like, he's not gonna keep it for. He's never defended a title, so it's not like he's gonna win that. If he does win and defend it, most likely not gonna happen. But it allows fighters to have another division now.
Yeah.
Which a lot of fighters complained about, right? That 155 to 170 is just too much.
Even some people hate him. I think that in his prime he was the man.
Oh,
And it's very
undeniable.
inspiring, like when we watched that first movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because he comes from the gutter too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I think people forget that. Like, he comes from the gutter. Like, he was poor,
He
and
was
his
poor.
wife stayed with him from the beginning too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to find
Respect,
a woman
right?
like that.
Yeah, respect, and yeah, it's just like, yeah. Once you find a woman that's gonna be with you when you have nothing, she's gonna be with you when you have everything, and she's gonna be more protective of it too than you are probably. They'll be probably smarter than you too. You got to find a woman that's smarter than you. Let's just make it the truth. Let's give the truth. You know, right? You know,
I did.
I did too. I got like you got to find a woman that's smarter than you. Like, you can't find
That's
a
a
woman.
good advice.
It is very good advice because that will allow longevity as well.
Yeah. And like, I think when you have someone like support you like
Mhm.
so much, like that, like it's so much easy, you know, like
Yeah, it's it help it gives you like this confidence,
yeah,
right? That because of the support,
yeah,
right? And it's almost like their it's your career is their career too now,
yeah,
you know, and that's why it's so I think that's why it's so good to have someone that's smarter than you, because you're not going to make the best decisions,
no,
even for yourself. That's what men do. They're dumb. They were dumb, right? So we make mistakes a lot. So yeah, it's just finding someone that blindly can support you on your career, but smart enough to where they could give you advice
yeah,
on things, which, you know, it's hard to find, man. Because nowadays it seems like most women are about themselves more than anything. We
Yeah.
live in the land of
So I don't know if you
flipping.
can say
We
that
live here. We
the
know like
only
all the
men's
people
are.
that come through this
So I
place.
don't know if the only men's are dumb.
But yeah, it's just, you know, that I guess, yeah, like with Connor, like he did find a woman that's legit, like down for him. That's why he, you know, buys her everything she needs, she wants. You know what I mean? I would too.
Yeah.
And you know, just you can never find that. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild to me, like some of these like athletes. It happens more in like other sports, but like they'll leave their like longtime girlfriend once they become professional. It's just like, damn, you had them like
Yeah,
hang
that's
on
kind
with
of
you
dumb.
the whole time
Yeah.
when you're struggling, and now you want to drop them because you're famous, and now it opens the doors to
I
like,
cannot let her go, leave
yeah,
her. She's my strength coach.
exactly.
If I leave
Yeah.
her when I get professional, I lose my
Yeah,
strength
I
coach.
remember I used to see examples like when I was in Brazil, like
Yeah.
Aldo wife.
Yeah.
She was with him when he didn't have nothing.
Mm.
Then when I moved to the States, I remember Edson Barboza telling me, like when he was a teenager and he didn't even have money to get a bus, his wife would help him,
Wow.
and they still together. And I like Marlon Moraes, like his wife had a very good job, and she left her very good job that she was making good money to go with him to America when he didn't have nothing to.
Yeah.
Frankie Edgar, like that is like a his father-in-law. He has he has like a house. He made a house in the basement
Mhm.
that some fighters already lived there. And I heard that Frankie and his wife lived there before, and I'm like, wow, Frankie Edgar live here, and yeah, with his wife. So probably she believed in
Yeah.
his vision so much, and look what he became.
Exactly,
And
man.
I see that's like good examples, like that sometimes a good woman can make the guy go like skyrocket, right?
And
That's
I
how.
think in the and you just no fight anymore just for you. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you have like someone else to
Yeah,
fight about.
I think I never had like a wife or kid, and I can see that probably having a wife or kid, a family, that probably gives so much motivation, right?
Yeah,
You see a lot of fighters that are having kids like during their UFC career,
yeah,
and then like it changes them. You can see it. Like I've had so many interviews with fighters about it. Like when they're going to have the baby, like their
Yeah,
next performance
yeah,
is different.
yeah.
yeah,
Other example that I saw too was Eddie Alvarez, and
Mhm.
it was popular that in all his fights in Bellator, I think all his career, everyone can hear his wife screaming
Yeah, yeah,
from the crowd, and it
dude.
seems like they've been together since they were like kids,
I
teenagers.
think middle school.
Crazy.
They've been together
wow,
since middle school. Like, yeah, like same thing like you were saying about Barboza. Like she would support him when he was coming up, you know, and then and in that the last fight, I
Yeah,
think Eddie Alvarez, he was like during the
yeah,
press
and I
conference.
saw that his wife, she was gonna be like a reporter.
Mhm,
She had like a bright future to do those
mhm.
things, and she just loved him so much and wanna be part of his dream. And now they happy, successful, they have kids, and they have a good life.
Yeah. Well, for every success story, there's like a thousand unsuccessful stories, right? Like we just talk about the good ones. So I'm just saying.
yeah.
Let's
No,
be
I
real,
think
right?
like a good woman can
Mhm.
help you,
Yeah.
but a
Yeah.
bad woman can put
Oh,
you
yeah.
more
Oh
down.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
It's
that's for
dude.
like
sure.
is helpful if you win the right person.
Mhm.
If you know it's like we just make you just go down like in anything here, you know, don't just a fighter.
You know,
But
there's like fans, right? They don't get to see like what's actually really going on in fighters camps.
yeah,
Like
Oh,
things that are
so
not
much.
on camera that like you would only know if you're like involved in the camp, right? Or you know what I mean, like or you know the fighter or whatnot. But there's so much going on like that that even in the biggest fights that we've ever seen, there's got to be shit going on in the
And we
background.
know that the mental part's the most important.
Mhm.
yeah. Sometimes you know you seen the guy in the gym, but
Yeah,
sometimes the guy in his house is like is struggling a lot
yeah.
more. Like so, like you don't see that, you know.
Imagine going home every night after you train, but then your second fight
Yeah,
starts. It just
Oh,
instantly, you know. There's no like,
so much stress.
yeah. Imagine that, and then imagine like you're gonna fight for the title tomorrow. You just got done with the weigh-ins, and your girl's on the phone, just going crazy on you.
yeah.
That's gotta fuck you up.
And like it's really a fighter life is really
Yeah.
difficult.
Oh.
And like so it's like you do need find someone who
Mhm.
will try to understand that
Yeah.
and like be patient
Yeah.
because it's really hard even for like for both sides for like for who is the fighter and for who is the wife of the fighter, you
For
know.
sure.
It's like it's really difficult.
There's a lot of patience in
Yeah,
being someone that supports a fighter because you have to be patient. It's not like it just comes to you instantly. You know what I mean? You got to keep going and going and like setbacks. And then you got to keep going after the setback and keep going after. And you got to be used to that and be able to support them and be there for them. And
And it's hard to find someone that really
oh,
believes and
yeah.
don't think that you're just like playing.
So, ladies, if you're out there, Mota's looking for someone supportive, supportive,
Whoa.
supportive, right? Die hard, right? That's what you're looking for, right? Loyal, you know, like get throw on the gloves if they have to.
Yeah, but at the same time, like uh, the person gotta have her space too
No,
and live her own life
yeah,
too. Right? She doesn't need to be my slave.
no. But yeah, but when you get home,
Like,
that's the
yeah,
most important thing I think. When you get
yeah,
home and like I think like for like some I guess for a man or whatever, I don't want to be like saying like for a woman, but for a man, if you go home and you just got done working, right? Let's say you got done training and you
yeah.
come home and then there's like food cooking and like your wife is like in the kitchen. I don't say she needs to be in the kitchen, but let's say she's there and she's like happy to see you. That changes your life.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
You don't even have to have kids. You just be able to go home after training, and maybe your training was shitty that day.
Oh, my wife don't even cook.
She's not like,
I
what
know.
you need, what you want.
I cook in the house.
Oh, okay.
I cook in the house. But it's just like, I think like for men you have like the space for getting in your house, and you have like someone for like just support you and like let you just rest and like let you be
Yeah.
calm in your space, you know. It's like just that enough,
And
you
if
know?
it's a relationship, like each one should support each other, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Because like, but it is a heavier job to support a fighter, I think.
Yeah.
Because the fighter has this like, it's like up and down
It's
a lot.
highs and low, like they were.
And I don't. What do you think of like marrying a female fighter? Do you think that's just too much? Because people say like, oh, like they understand me and stuff like that, and I understand that. But then now you got to understand them on the flip side, and it's just like, is it just like double the work? What do you think?
Well,
I don't want to get beat up in the
You don't want to get beat up in the gym.
well, no. At least if you fight in the house,
Yeah.
you the other day you can fight.
Oh, just
But I've seen like, what was it? I think it was in like Australia. Like there was like one guy who was like dating a female fighter, and he's a fighter too, and they would fight each other at the house, like
Wow.
domestic violence, like legit. Because most of the time, domestic violence is like someone hits somebody. It's not like a full on fight. They were like full on fight because they're trained fighters, right? So imagine that.
It starts, you didn't wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Put it apart.
She jumps on your back, rear naked choke. Now you gotta defend that and get out of that. You know what I mean? If you get out of this, you don't have to wash the dishes. Like that, you get choked out. No, but yeah, I think I've never had a conversation about that with fighters though. But it's very true, right? Like, we gave some great examples like Eddie Alvarez and Barboza and Frankie Edgar and stuff like that. Those guys. But yeah, if you have the
I
right
always
woman,
thought about that too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe it could be nice to have a girlfriend that is a female fighter because she understand. And a lot of times, people that don't know much about fighting, they don't understand
Yeah.
girls that don't know much
it all
about fighting.
it all depends, man. Because some women that are fighters, they're kind of alphas
Because
themselves.
at the same time, like I
Yeah.
remember like girls telling me like I have to do some hard workout, like hard training, and she would be like, have fun. But I can see that she's saying have fun in a way that what I do is just fun. It's not a
Yeah.
It's
job.
not a job,
Yeah.
yeah. But isn't that what you want in life? Is you want a job that's not a job.
Yeah.
To you. It might be a job to somebody else, but for you, it's not a job. You go to your job, you go to your work, you have fun. And
Yeah.
and a lot of times you're not having fun. I think that's what they people don't. You love what you do, but it's not fun
But
all
also
the
we gotta
time.
do
Yeah.
what we gotta do.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
It's not like you're going there every day and you're beating the shit out of everybody, and you leave practice and you're like, yeah,
Well,
that was good. Every day is like
You're
that.
going
No.
there and you're getting beat every day.
Because imagine the guys
Like
that
going through super hard strength and conditioning workouts or doing like
because think about the guys that like they're in a gym, right? They're on a team, but they're like the lowest in the the lowest in the totem pole, right? Like the stages. So they're training with like the highest level guys, but they're like the lowest, right? So they're just getting beat up for like 5 years. But that 5 years, this
learn
fighter
a
actually
lot.
becomes better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Just because they got their ass beat for 5 years, you know what I mean? And there's no other job like that. So what other job do you got?
You get beat for get better.
You just get him knocked down to get
Yeah.
better, you know what I mean? There's not,
Oh,
and then you enjoy that at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you enjoy that accomplishment of like, okay, I got to this level. But you guys, he's gonna start his MMA career real soon. You're in the middle of it, like legit middle of your career, which but
and he already has 70 Muay Thai fights.
70 that helps him so much.
no,
Yeah.
50.
50?
50.
But that helps him so much, right? Just that ring time and going through the motions of
Yeah.
fighting, and now it's just MMA, smaller gloves, and
Yeah.
it's good that you've been training already. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm MMA. No,
Yeah.
you've been training.
No, yeah, like over a year.
Yeah,
I'm training
yeah,
MMA,
for
like
sure.
wrestling.
And it's like you're at a good place because it's
Yeah.
like there has been other strikers that have transitioned to MMA, and there's other strikers as well at the gym that are going to do the same thing, right? So it's exciting times. I think like it's exciting times for the MMA team because everybody's so young. Like they know the big names that come and train here, right? But they don't know you guys.
Yeah.
They don't know you and the other fighters that are part of the team that are young, and like you get to train with like all these like really high level guys, but you just you haven't shown your skills yet in the stage, right? So in the next 5 years, like the team will be like
they will
on the map. Yeah, like there's so many good, like the girls are like some of the girls are fucking real good, you know what I mean? And they're just still amateurs. But like the dudes too, like they just need the opportunities, right? 5 years, I'm telling you. It will take 5 years for the team to get like that notoriety of like they're building a team now. And you got some veterans here too, you know what I mean? Coming in and out. But yeah, I'm looking at the young guys, the young girls, like you guys will have your opportunities. And especially being from a gym that's famous too, it helps.
Yeah.
Let's not lie about that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an American top team, the UFC will probably sign the guy from American top team rather than some smaller gym in like in you know Chicago or something, right? Because it's American top team, and you're probably linked to somebody like Dustin Poirier, that was his training partner for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. They like to use those things. You know?
I think connection is everything.
Oh,
like,
for
you
sure.
have a good connection is everything.
Yeah. I built my career off connections, so like it's all about connections and just grinding and hard work. And that's just like you said, it's just fighting. It's the fight business, right? But Mota, you could possibly be leaving this Saturday, but maybe not.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was calling to change my flights today, but they couldn't find flights today, and they told me to try it again later. And that's why my phone wasn't on the silence, because they said they was gonna call me again, but they didn't. But it's okay. Tomorrow or maybe when I get home now, I call again.
Okay.
I'm trying to extend my
weeks.
my
That's what
trip.
happens. Like you said earlier, that's what happens.
Oh, I came here with my ticket was for 1 week later, and I knew I was not going to come back.
Yeah, next time I'm buying only one-way ticket.
Yeah.
No, the best thing to do, buy two-way, but to cancel.
No, you buy just one way and buy like a ticket for like maybe Singapore or like Malaysia is cheap. Like you pay like 1,000 baht for a ticket like that.
Yeah, there's ways. It's just, you know, when you have a one way, it's just like it's kind of suspicious, you know. So you just have to have a round way or something.
But sometimes they don't even ask.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't even
it
ask.
all depends on the time of year too. I think right now it's because high season, they really like plus
like
all this stuff that's happening now with like people being in trouble and like did you see the elephant sanctuary guy like kick the lady? Now they're kicking him out of the country.
Wow.
And then now they're like investigating all these companies, finding like, oh, you're doing illegal stuff. They're like, it's on the news. It comes out like this guy busted for like illegal making money illegally on villas and stuff. Like it's crazy. It's all foreigners.
Yeah.
Now they're just like really trying to find people, but we're not doing nothing wrong. So what are you doing? All right, we'll be back on Thursday. Bota, Felipe, thank you guys so much. And that was a good conversation. Next, we'll have Brazilians on more because I always have questions about Brazil and I want to do them on the show. So next time I'll have more questions. But until then, we'll see you guys. Felipe and Mota will be back.